Hi, I'm Amanda Ralph, a nurse practitioner and the owner and founder of White Coat Aesthetics here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, today I thought it'd be fun to just have a general discussion about ethics in medical aesthetics. There can be a discussion about ethics in really any form of medicine, but I really think that the medical aesthetic industry can be, unfortunately, very predatory in nature. And I just kind of want to talk about this and have a discussion and get your thoughts on if you are seeing this and what we're all seeing in kind of the industry. I think in general, what is happening is one, of course, we're trying to help people look better and we're trying to help them feel better. The problem with that is that sometimes people are just looking for a quick fix for a temporary time in their life. Maybe they're feeling insecure, maybe they just lost their job, maybe they're feeling unhappy about something else. And it's a very vulnerable state for people to be in. So when they come to us, they're telling us about what bothers them about the way they look, but it may actually be something else going on with their life. Now, if someone comes to me with a very realistic concern about something that we can actually fix, I'm more than happy to discuss that with them and actually treat. But so often do patients come in telling me how horrible they feel, and I really am not seeing what it is that they're saying, and I also wouldn't really recommend them treating their face. And I really worry that there are injectors out there who are just listening to the patient, shoving a bunch of product or filler or whatever in their face, and then taking their money because they want the sale. It's very tempting as a business owner, as an injector, to just want to be able to treat and to just take the money and just be able to continue to run your business. But my fear is that we are treating people who maybe shouldn't be getting treated. We're adding too much filler when they don't need any more. And we are never stopping them to kind of question what is going on in their psyche. I know that Leslie Fletcher is a huge proponent of doing a full screening for body dysmorphia, and I completely agree. I think we should really be considering that in our mind when we are um, doing our discussions with patients. I want to share kind of two stories that I think of when it comes to ethics in aesthetics and why I think we really should be taking a look at ourselves first and each injector to make sure that this industry, the standard as a whole, it gets raised. The first story I just wanted to talk about was my first job ever. And the first job ever I have talked about before. I'm sure I've said the name. I'm not going to say it here in case it becomes an issue, but it was very sales focused. And how the whole company was run was that patients would come in, they would have a consult with a salesperson, and then once they've already paid and they've made a plan for their packages, then they would see the medical professional, the nurse. What I found is a lot of times people would be sold things that I didn't even think that they were a candidate for, or that I didn't think that they should be receiving. And then I would be put in this place where, do I ask the salesperson to refund the money and then have the business mad at me that is paying me? Or do I provide a treatment that I don't really think is going to work and I know the patient will probably be disappointed in and just hope for the best? And it was a constant struggle of, you know, which fight do I want to pick? Do I want to fight my employer? Do I want to have a patient upset and receive a treatment that's probably going to do nothing? Because of course we are medical professionals. We should not be doing anything that's actually dangerous. But outside of it being dangerous, there's also a gray area where it's like, does this patient even need this? Will it even help with what they're asking for? One situation in particular that happened to me at this business is I went up to the front desk for something. At this point, I was 23 years old. To be completely honest with you, I've never struggled with acne. I am blessed with skin that doesn't have a lot of acne or scarring. It's pure genetics and luck, if we're going to be honest. I went up to the front of the business and the salesperson was talking to this woman and trying to convince her to do these laser treatments. And the patient looked at me and said, "Wow, your skin is perfect. I want my skin to look just like yours." And the saleswoman looked at me and then looked back at the patient and said, "Yes, she does this laser treatment that you're wanting to get, and that's why her skin looks that good." And it was so uncomfortable for me because I had never received the laser treatment. This was like right when I started. Eventually, I had received the treatments, and yes, I have received treatments at this point, but I felt sick about that because it was just a blatant lie, and it was such an uncomfortable position to be in. And I bet if you asked most people in this industry, estheticians, nurses, nurse practitioners, they have had a similar story like that, which is very unfortunate because it is just very it's just distrustworthy. Like for it's I know that it is ruining our industry. The second story I wanted to share was one, and I am going to be general here because I will be honest, this has happened to me a little bit in the last 2 months. I feel like I've had multiple patients this way. I will have a woman come in, go to do a full face consult, and she's just picking apart her face. She's not happy with this. She's not happy with this. She feels very old. She feels tired. She doesn't recognize herself when she looks in the mirror. And I am not kidding you. I would say at least 5 times in the last 2 months, I've had patients that are like this. They've had a baby in the last 2 to 3 years. They're just feeling not like themselves. And before they ever talk to me, my initial thought in my head was like, wow, they look really good. What could I possibly do for them? And then in having the appointment and hearing all these insecurities from them, I can understand completely why they feel the way they do, because I am a mom. I understand how hard it is to have a baby, how difficult it is to recognize yourself so shortly after having one. But I have 2 choices as a provider in the room to this person who is willing to pay me money and who is willing to do whatever it takes to attempt to get them to feel better. I can take their money and just offer them loads of things and say, this is what we need to do. I'm going to make you feel better. Or I can sit down with them and have the conversation and say, you know what? You're not going to feel like yourself right now. And that is very unfortunate, but it is just a reality of having a baby. I don't think the answer is filling your face right now, especially if you are maybe a little bit more, have a little bit more weight to you than you normally do and are just still recovering. Your body is healing. It is changing. Things change after a baby. And I feel like it would be doing you a disservice to add or change anything right now when we could just pause and wait until you start to feel like yourself again. And then if there's anything that still bothers you, easy, we can fix it. But I find myself turning away a lot of clients recently. And it's too bad because I love these women that I'm talking to. And I'm like, I will be here for you next year, in 2 years, whenever you're ready to actually be serious about this. But I am not going to take a woman who is just feeling insecure because life is so hard and difficult and it's a very crazy stage of life and completely change the way that they look. We can always do Botox. There are things you can always do that are not going to make you look crazy, that are not going to have potentially long-term outcomes you're not happy with. We can always do something. Facials, we can improve your skin health. But I find that a lot of people come to me expecting me to do a lot with filler and completely change the way their face looks, even though when I'm looking at them, I think they look amazing. So what I would like to leave you with on this is sometimes, one, of course, you'll hear everywhere, don't budget your treatments. Don't try and go to the cheapest person. Don't try and go to people who are just selling you things. But I guess what I would like to say is there is a level of dishonesty in this field, I believe. And I think if you can try and prioritize the consultation and go and trust your gut with the injector and listen to them, and if they are someone that just seems to want to tell you all the things that are wrong with you and sell without actually giving you a good professional opinion, steer clear. And if you have someone in your town, in your city, or wherever you're at that you do believe is being honest, save up to go to that person, because it is really worth it in the long run to go to someone honest than to go to someone who is just trying to make a quick buck that is going to potentially give you bad outcomes. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Do you agree? Do you see what I am saying? I really just feel like if we as injectors, as medical providers, as estheticians, if we can practice to our highest honesty, the entire industry as a whole will get better. I want to see all of Las Vegas covered by injectors who are honest and true and fair to their clients. The entire industry would be better because of it.